Alright, so situational problems involving parabolas. So let me read. The cable of a suspension bridge hangs in the shape of a parabola. The towers supporting the cable are 400 feet apart and 150 feet high. If the cable at its lowest is 30 feet above the bridge at its midpoint, how high is the cable 50 feet away horizontally from either tower? So let me clear, no? The one that is on a shape of a parabola, the one that is in the shape of a parabola here is the cable that hangs dun sa suspension bridge. So in this figure, it's the red one. Okay, let us take a look at the descriptions pa. The towers supporting the cable are 400 feet apart. Alright, so the tower that supports the cable are 400 feet apart. So we map it out on a Cartesian plane. Okay, if they are 400 feet apart from the center, they should contain 200 and the other one should be negative 200. Right, so here as you can see, I'm just focusing on the right side, no? Kasi it has positive x-axis and the positive y-axis. Anyway, if you will use the negative coordinates, you will still arrive at the same answer. Okay, you may try that after. Okay, so next description is that the towers supporting the cable are 400 feet apart and 150 feet high. So ayan, so there are 200 and 150. So if we will get the coordinates of this one, that's 200 and 150. And since this one is a parabola, that means to say every point here should satisfy a given standard equation. Okay, so later. Moving on, going back, if the cable at its lowest is 30 feet above the bridge. So if this is the bridge, the lowest height ng cable wire natin is 30 feet above. So that means to say the cable of the suspension bridge will not and should not be touching the bridge per se. Diba? Kailangan, ito na ideal, 30 feet pa nga eh. This one is the ideal, no? Ideal. Because suspension bridge is so down kapag sinagad nila yan hanggang baba. Okay? Kasi it's delicate. So that's why suspension bridges are designed such as that. So future engineers. Okay, anyway, going back, resume natin. How high is the cable 50 feet away? Yun lang, from either tower. So anyway, moving on pala dito, no? The lowest part here is 0, 30. I-finish ko lang yung coordinates niya. So dito, the coordinates of this point is 200. 200 siya sa x-axis niya. Tapos yung y-coordinate naman niya, 150. Ito namang nasa baba daw na 30 feet. Yung 30 feet, yun yung height niya. So, meron siyang y-coordinate na 30. Pero yung x-coordinate niya should be 0. Okay? So, there are two completed coordinates given already for this parabola. Next, ano yung isang sinabi dyan? How high is the cable? Question na. So, how high is that cable 50 feet away horizontally from either tower? So, we are asked again the height of the cable 50 feet away horizontally from each tower or from either tower. There are two towers, no? I can construct the 50 feet. If this is the tower, no, I'm just going to move 50 feet away from that. Then, I'll get its height. So, again, I have focused on the right side para clear tayo na positive lang muna. So, moving 150 feet away from this tower, so that means to say, if we have 200 feet from the center, magbabawas lang tayo ng 50 feet, alis tayo ng 50 feet, something like this. Then we will meet this cable. Nasa red pa rin tayo ng red cable, no? Nag-move lang tayo 50 feet. Pwede rin dito, mag-move ka lang din ng 50 feet sa left side. Okay, so we know that its x coordinate, yung distance niya from the center is 150. What we don't know is its height. Ito, we know that this one is 30. You know that this one is 150. What we don't know is the height of this one, 150, tapos blank. I'll name that one as y. Okay? So, what's the dilemma here? If we only know the standard equation of this parabola, the red one, then we can proceed in substituting, no, the 150 and then the y, then solve for y. But, can we do it? Can we write the standard equation? Okay, so one thing to note, the parabola opens upward and its vertex is not the origin 0, 0. Again, kasi delikado yun. Its center, or not center, its vertex is not the origin, but it's at 0, 30. Okay, 0, 30 should be our h and k. Okay, hide ko muna. So, we will use what template? Kung maaalala nyo, the template for opening upward parabola with center at HK is similar to opening upward parabola with center at the origin. Except that, nagkaroon lang siya ng minus h and minus k there. Okay, so, saan po manggagaling si h and k? Sorry about that. H and k, no problem about that. The 0 and then the 30. Now, in writing standard equation of parabola, there should be no c. We should actually know the exact value. Now, in this case, since we are not asked to look for c naman, and we don't have any way to look for c because the focus and directrix are not provided to us, then we can assume na hindi talaga natin problema si c. What our problem is the whole value of 4c. And with that in mind, we're going to assume first a certain value of 4c. In this situation, I will use a. Okay? I'm gonna substitute the h. H is 0. H is 0. So, x minus h will be x minus 0. The y minus k will become y minus 30. And then the 4c, that's the exact number that we would like to know, a. So, once we know the a, uulit lang tayo para malaman natin yung exact standard equation natin. Kasi ang problem natin dito, we don't know the standard equation. What we know is kulang. Just the h and then the k. We should know the exact value of that. Okay? So, to do that, here is our tentative standard equation of parabola that opens upward. Why tentative? Because we don't know the a. So, we have to solve for a first before we solve for this. Before we plug in this 2, 150 tsaka question mark. Now here, what will we do is to use this one, 200 and 150. This point passes through that red parabola. And so, if we're going to use them here, plug it in here, it should satisfy. We will change the x, we will change the y. What will remain is the a, constant or variable a. And so, we can return to this later. Okay? So, x, I'll use plugging in 200. I'll have x squared or 200 squared. The a will remain. And then the y minus 30 will become 150 minus 30. So, 150 minus 30, that's equal to 120. Okay, 120 times a. Now, 40,000 is equal to 120a. Dividing both sides by 120, kasi we have to leave a alone, solving a. I'll have 333.33. So, that 333.33 will be our exact value of a. Okay, so once I change this one, that's it. We have completed the standard equation of our parabola. So as you can see, x squared is still x squared. The a changed into 333.33. Then the y minus 30 is y minus 30. So this is the final standard equation, ha? Okay, that should satisfy all these points that you can see, all the points that you can see here. Now again, this happened because we are not given the focus and the directrix. So pwede po ba yun? We are not given the focus and the directrix? Yes. Kaya we don't have any way to find C. And so we use algebraic manipulation here. Okay, so we first assume that the whole for C is a certain value A, and then we ask the help of 200 and 150. By the way, you cannot use this center 0 and 30 because it simply means that you are subtracting H by itself, K by itself. So nonsense, no sense in solving. So the next step here is to plug in 150 and Y na. So the next mission is to really identify what is the height of that cable wire if it is 50 feet away from the tower. And so 150 is x, y is y. Using this, kita pa ba? I'll change x into 150 and then I'll change y into y. So x squared turned into 150 squared, 333.33, and then y minus 30. Y is unknown, right? So okay, so namatay ang ilaw. 150 squared is equal to 22,500 is equal to 333.33y. Why? Because I have substituted it. Distributed it, distributive property, and so 333.33 times negative 30 is equal to negative 9,999.9. So, konti na lang, you have to solve for y. May katabi siyang 9,999.9 and then itong 3's. So, you have numerous ways to solve this one, but here I would like to remove this 9,999.9 using subtraction property of equality, or simply transpose it to the left side. It will become positive. So 25,500 plus 9,999.9 is equal to 333.33y. And so removing the 333.33, kakancel natin to. May iwan ng mag-isa si y. So, simplifying this one, that's 32,499.9 divided by 333.3 or 97.50. So, that means to say, on this part of the cable wire of the bridge, with 150 feet distance from the center and 50 feet wide, 50 feet away from the tower, its height should be approximately equal to 97.50. Does it make sense? Yes. This one, the height is 30. This one is 150. So somewhere along it's almost 100 height. Thus, the cable wire is 97.5 feet high when it is 50 feet away from either tower. Again, if you would like to solve from this part with negative coordinates, you should be able to arrive at the same answer because that's parabola. It will satisfy any conditions, points that will pass through it.